Welcome everyone to the CCL Halftime Show. I'm Kyle Fergusson, and today I am joined by Hasu of Oxygen Esports. Welcome to you, Hasu.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me, actually.
It's a pleasure to have you back. Now, over on Oxygen, how's the season going so far? I know we only have 1 week, but how's it going so far?
Yeah, I mean, we had a transition from 30k, right? We joined Oxygen together with the Hardos, like the team we were playing together in Europe. So I've been familiar with all the guys, and actually over on Oxygen, the biggest change I would say is that we have a coach. Cavalier, I guess, is the person behind the scenes. He's tracking all the stats and looking at our matches, and I'm actually very grateful that we have someone like him helping us out as well.
So you went from first place 30k, but I think you just kind of answered my next question there. Basically, your whole roster was part of another team you were playing with?
Yeah, that's correct. Exactly. Like we played in some European tournaments as the Hardos, and then obviously the CCL had a drafting format, so the roster was a bit different before.
Was Bad Benny a part of that as well?
Yes, Bad Benny was a part, and Yasu as well, actually. So we got them into the CCL team, but we were missing Nick in Copenhagen up to that point.
Sure, so everyone's come together. Well, that explains week 1 then.
Well, and a bit of luck, I guess, yeah.
Sure, well, and now the math of Cavalier guests in the background kind of informing your all's choices. So if you were to kind of give us a breakdown of that for last week, was there any of that Cavalier math that went straight into your matches with Chili Mountain?
Oh yeah, so I think Chili Mountain and 30k are probably our hardest opposition in the league. That's how I feel. So playing them in week 1, was quite a task to overcome. And we won 3-0. I'm still a little bit baffled by it. Maybe they had a slight off day, and we did perform very well. But overall, I think we just played a bit better, right? And they definitely made some mistakes. We punished them. And in terms of like draft preparation and so on, Cav definitely helped. He also suggested like a few certain picks for each map. So yeah, I think everything came together. And luckily we had a very strong showing in week 1. I think it is a very important match, actually.
Well, game 1 made quite a bit of sense. Came down to a big team fight. But in game 2, you played Jaina as like the only ranged assassin. On paper, that seems horrifying. How does that work out? How did it feel doing that match?
Yeah, it's a pretty old school thing, I'd say. Like Jaina is not really part of the meta right now, even though she is very strong in certain areas. She has very good wave clear and is a very strong burst mage. She brings utility with the slow, right? And in that draft, we had Johanna Bless Shield, Kerrigan as a follow-up combo, and then all you need is burst to kill the target, right? Especially because Chili Mountain had no cleanse in that game. So I wasn't really ever the target for them because we always initiated on their front line, and Jaina is perfect to follow up for that.
That makes sense. And then in game 3, I have a nice scatter kill, by the way, on the Lunara who was getting away there. That was a fine moment. You guys got quite macro ahead there. But what kind of led to that flow? Because that was a back and forth until those final moments.
Yeah, playing against Chili Mountain, it's always hard. Like these guys, they are the top of their classes as well, right? They know exactly what they're doing, so it's never easy against them. I think on Towers of Doom, we got some like crucial kills that led into additional objectives. So we were ahead in the shot counter, but we were behind in experience because they had a Dehaka like split soaking. And I think they were probably favored in the late game, but we managed to get the 1 or 2 kills and then the altars, and that's how you win the game on Towers of Doom, right?
That is fair. Well, looking forward now, you mentioned 30k as well as Chili Mountain here, and of course there's always the gauntlet at the end where anything can happen. Are there any other teams that come to mind? Because this is perhaps the craziest rosters we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a very stacked season. Like when I say Chili Mountain and 30k, honestly, the list goes on. I think Diamond Hands is very strong. I think Wildheart can be a contender. I think Storm is always a team to look out for. And then we have Granite Gaming with the old HEC boys. Not quite sure where they are at right now, but they definitely have the talent, to have a deep run. So yeah, I don't know exactly. The season is for sure quite crazy when you look at the rosters. And I mean, we just started, right? We will get a feeling throughout the season.
Well, looking at this week now and the match coming up, you're going to face Wildheart. Any thoughts on going into that matchup?
Yeah, so they won 3-0 in week 1 as well, just like us. They played against Simplicity, and they looked very dominating in all 3 games, honestly. We did have a scrim block against them prior to week 1, so we played against Wildheart once, and I think they look strong. It is a very important match for us again, so we are scrimming, we are putting time and thoughts into the upcoming match, and I mean, I don't know who's the favorite, but we really want to win it, like we are putting in the extra time.
Awesome. Well, definitely looking forward to that. Looking at your own roster, it's evolved quite a bit over our CCLs here as kind of the maybe resident Falstad main kind of comes to mind for a little bit. But now that sniper Hanzo from behind the walls, kind of up in the corners. Do you have anything else planned for the season? Are there any heroes you're excited to play?
I'm always excited to play some Vikings or Avatar, right? If it fits into the draft, like it's something I would like to bust out. It is only rarely the case that it makes sense in the draft, but honestly, I'm very content with whatever fits for my team in the specific draft that I have to play. Be it a Lunara, Tychus, Hanzo, occasionally I guess a Jaina. Like, I'm totally fine with that. I don't mind it too much. But yeah, Hanzo is definitely very fun, and you do have a lot of impact, right?
Absolutely. Well, as we come to a close here of this interview and head towards that match, any shout outs you'd like to do?
To all the viewers, to Twitch chat, to the CCL overall for giving us another season and an offline event at the very end, right? That's great news actually for the hot scene. Shout out to Oxygen, Cavalier Guest, Rutzo, of course, our 6th man. And thanks for having me here.
It was our pleasure. Hey, everybody, stay tuned for those matches coming up.